So today I want to create a Blade Runner lookalike cityscape, and I'm going to use Unreal Engine 5 and Machina Fractal Essence plugin. So just create a new project in Unreal Engine and add Machina Fractal to it. So just empty project, and this will be enough. I already did that, and you can create a new level, empty level, and it's all dark. That's fine. So we need to add light, and for the light I use the environment light mixer, and we need a skylight, a atmospheric light, a sky atmosphere, a volumetric cloud if you want, and hate fog. That's nice. You can change the sun position with Ctrl L like this and move your mouse. Okay. And we can already import the fractal, so you should have this folder, and blueprint, and Mixpinski light too. I'm going to use this formula because it's kind of fast and looks really good. So we have to change a few settings in the light. So because the shadow here are not correct. So the only thing you need to do is select your directional light and search for contact shadow length and set that to 0.5. Now you have a more accurate shadow. Then I want to create a big cityscape. So let's scale the blueprint to something big like 50. Okay. So the second issue usually is the frame rate, because fractals are heavy. So you can change your setting here in engine scalability and set that to minimum or low or whatever you want. I'm going to set that to medium, and I gained a few FPS already. Another cool trick is to use NVIDIA DLSS settings. You need to install the plugin and enable it, but then you can really improve the FPS while playing around. You see it's locked at 60. Of course, it's not going to look as good as the cinematic settings, but it's fine. Then we can already start to play with the fractal itself. So select your blueprint here, and you can change the settings. I don't like this emission, so if you go down, emissive settings, and you can just disable that. Okay, that's nice. Then sometimes the camera is too slow, so you want to move around faster, and you can change that here. Way better. So let's play a little with the fractals parameter. I think in the middle here somewhere there's something really cool. Yeah. So I think the scene will be around here, somewhere here. So we can create a new camera in Cinema Camera Actor, and right click on it and snap object to view, and then pilot Cinema Camera Actor. Okay, so we are seeing through the camera now, and I want a slower camera speed, and let's just find some cool subject. This is cool already. And change the light position a bit. something dramatic like this is really cool. Okay. Now that the scene is in place, we can also change the scalability engine setting. Let's try Epic. And of course it looks good, but the FPS will go down. So let's try Cinematic. This looks fine. Perfect. Now we can play a bit with the exponential height fog, and you can try to increase the depth of that with the fog density. And what did I change here? The fall off. No, I don't want this. Okay. You can go above this number, like 0.5. That's too much. 0.2. Okay. That's cool. Then we can change more things about the atmosphere. If you go in the sky atmosphere, you can change, just play a little with the settings, honestly. Okay, that's cool. So let's play a little with the camera settings here. Just click on your camera and we can set a focus distance actually. So if you set this to 0, it will be all blurred out. But if you increase that, and we can actually decrease the aperture so we get more light into the sensor and we have more depth of field effect, let's say. So the current aperture can go down because it's limited here in the min f-stop. So if you set that to 0.1, for instance, you can go down here. And you start to see that the depth of field is taking place. So adjust your focus, something like that. And then we have to change the exposure mode because you see it's all washed out. So change the metering mode to manual and play with the exposure compensation. Yeah, that's cool. We can try to enable also the light shaft occlusion. It doesn't always work. You should create like a God rays look, but in this case it's not happening because of the light position. So we can start to texture this thing. Always in the blueprint, we need to go down to the diffuse settings. So here you can change the textures. And I have a few actually, so textures, there's many here you can use, but in this case I have a few special ones like this and this. Okay, and then I want to, you can change the scale and whatever. Default is fine here, I think. And then we can change the emissive texture because I want some like windows here. So I have this texture, simple dots, colored dots, and you just have to drag that here. Of course, we've disabled the emission, so just enable that as slope. That's it. You can shift the colors if you want. I love this. You can change the scale of it. 1 is fine. and want some more emission power here. Let's try 10. Too much. 3, okay. I think this is really cool. Let's change the light position again. Okay, and I think I can increase the DLSS setting here to get it looking way better. And I can now spot that is out of focus. So go back to the camera. Okay, something like this. So you can already render the scene as it is, but I don't really like, in my case, I don't really like that the background here is white and there's not much negative space for the subject here. So we can create a cube and do some shadow. So a big cube. Actually, we can stop piloting the camera. Okay. So the camera is here and the subject is around here. Let's scale this thing. Where is the light coming from? There. Okay, let's see. Okay, wrong spot. So just move that around a little bit. Okay, something like that. So we have more shadow in the background. And you can also control how much the indirect light is effective. Let's say in the skylight, there's a intensity scale. So if you decrease that like to 1, you see that you have a lot of light coming here, even if it's not in the sun part. So 0.1 is usually cool. Okay. And that's cool. We can do another thing to improve the camera look. So if you go all the way down here, there's chromatic aberration. Let's enable that. And it's not working because we are in medium. So cinematic. And don't do that too much. Just a little bit on the corners, like this. Then we can use some lens flares. I don't think it's going to be visible. Just a little here. And the bloom, where is the bloom? Here. So the method is standard now, and I don't really like that. It's way better to use convolution. Something like that. Just play with it a little. Okay. As you can see, we have a nice flare and a nice bloom. Okay. Then you can change the grading. Of course, you can do this in post, but let's have a look at that. Yeah, something cold. And the film, yeah, this is looking cool. Okay, let's save everything. And now we can start to render this thing. But before, we have to create a level sequence. Let's call this like shot number 1. And just import your camera like this. And now we can actually keyframe everything. So, sorry, let's move the camera a little. I don't know, we can do like start from here. So keyframe the transform here, go to the last frame, move the camera like this. Okay, and keyframe that again. If you play that, you have your camera move. But we have to change the interpolation mode here, because you can see that it's not visible here. Anyway, where is that? I have no idea where is that. Anyway, we can select the keyframes and press 4. So now it's linear. And that's way better. The focus is not on point here, but hopefully you can keyframe that too. So in the manual focus distance here, just set the focus to the right point and add a keyframe. Then go a little like here, adjust that again, and keyframe. You get the idea. Okay, that's nice. Perfect. You can also change any other camera setting here. You can add more settings, so whatever you want actually, like the film back, whatever you have here, you can add it here and keyframe that. You can change the focal length. So let's say you start from here, and then at the end you zoom into that thing. Let's set everything to linear. And as you can see, you have a nice zoom into this thing. The lens flare is not good here, so just going to disable that really quick. Where is that? Okay. Now, if you want, you can also animate the fractal. So let's save the sequence. And I'm not going to animate that for this shot, but I'll show you how to. So just select your blueprint, add it to the sequence, track, SM fractal plane, and material parameter element 0. Here you can keyframe everything, like the scale. Scale W is the same here, so you can animate that. Now it's very delicate because we are deep into the fractal, but you can just keyframe that as you want. Actually, you know what, we can animate that. It's really cool. So we start from this, we go at the end, okay. I'll take that. Actually, I think it's better to do the opposite. So move this keyframe at the end and this at the beginning. Really cool. So adjust your camera a little and keyframe the transform again. Fix the focus distance. What is this doing here? Okay. Nice. So let's render this. We need to enable a plugin first. It's called Render Queue. This one already did that, so in case you haven't, just enable that and restart the project. Be sure to save everything. And now we can open that, move your render queue, and I'll include a file setting, a render setting in the description, but let's add shot 1, save everything. Let's do a save all, okay? Shot 1, and the map is untitled, which is right. Go to unsaved config and load the ACES file. There's the link in the description. And this is, it's like made for fractal rendering. So there's many console variables here to get the best quality possible. And we can, yeah, that's perfect. So we removed all the denoisers to have a clean render look. Then you can change the output resolution here, the folder. I'm going to desktop, okay. And you can also add a JPEG or whatever here. I'm using EXR sequence file format, so that should be it. Just click accept and render local. So the render finished, and this is the final result. And we also did some color correction and post-processing in Flame.